President Trump is calling for a criminal investigation into billionaire philanthropist George Soros and his son Alex.
President Trump just dropped a political earthquake, and it's aimed straight at George Soros and his radical leftist son. The president says it's time for RICO charges against the billionaire puppet masters who are funding chaos across America. Think about all the riots and the piles of bricks and all the signs and the graffiti and the buses full of people from nowhere near the protests. That's what's going on. You've seen the Craigslist ads. And guess what? The Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, this is another thing to do on her list with Kash Patel. The Department of Justice is taking this very seriously. And you can see here the True Social post from Donald Trump. He didn't hold back. He wrote, George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO because of their support for violent protest and much more, all throughout the United States of America. We're not going to allow these lunatics to rip apart America anymore, never giving it so much as a chance to breathe and be free. Soros and his group of psychopaths have caused great damage to our country. That includes his crazy West Coast friends. Be careful. Is that a veiled shot towards Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris? The list is pretty long, Adam Schiff. And he says, be careful, we're watching you. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He's always so polite whenever he calls out these people. Now, we're going to break this down.
President Trump is calling for a criminal investigation into billionaire philanthropist George Soros and his son Alex. The president posting on social media the two should be charged with RICO, racketeering, for their alleged involvement with funding violent protests across the country. A Soros spokesperson is calling the accusations outrageous and false. The Justice Department is not commenting on a potential probe, but Fox is told agency leadership is taking the president's post seriously.
Now let's break this down. For years, Soros has been funding and accused of funneling millions into progressive causes, radical district attorneys like Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, Fannie Willis, just to name a few, and some left-wing nonprofits that destabilize our societies. You might know of one called the Clinton Foundation.
The Clinton campaign's alleged efforts, I should say. Now, we're looking for the first time at an email from a man named Leonard with the Open Society Foundation. Will, that's a society tied to George Soros. According to the annex, Leonard writes about a Clinton campaign advisor and says that HRC, meaning Hillary Clinton, approved Julia's ideas about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level, end quote. Now, a source close to the annex says that Durham obtained these Leonard emails via the intelligence community who intercepted them from Russian intelligence. The annex goes on to explain the FBI was fully alerted to the possibility that at least some of the information it received about the Trump campaign in 2016 might have origins with the Clinton campaign or Russian disinformation, but dismiss the information, quote, as not credible without any investigative steps actually having been taken to either corroborate.
So they dismiss the charges without even one investigation. Does that make any sense? Is there someone within the FBI during that time frame? Mueller, maybe Comey, Christopher Wray. Those names sound familiar? Do you think they would have possibly dismissed these charges against someone like the Clintons? I think so. I think that could be one of the big hinge pins for this entire chaotic system.
Or disprove the allegations, end quote. The report also critical of President Obama's national security team, specifically then CIA Director John Brennan, who once again defended himself moments after the report was released today. Watch.
I stand ready to continue to talk about the assessment and what we did during that period of time. There was absolutely no conspiracy, and we continue to stand behind what it is that we have said publicly.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, all behind declassifying this annex so we can read it. Will, we did reach out to those mentioned in this unclassified or declassified report today, I should say, but we've yet to hear back. Will?
Well, who would have guessed that they wouldn't respond? And I want you to remember, just before leaving office, Democrats sent over $260 million taxpayer dollars straight to Soros-backed NGOs, non-governmental organizations. You tell me, isn't that the very definition of racketeering, or just an oddly expensive coincidence? And of course, they're going to rush out a statement, and you can see it here.
Donald Trump claims Hungarian-American billionaire George Soros is responsible for interfering in the political landscape of many countries. The account claims that Soros used a hefty $260 million from U.S. aid to spread chaos, change governments, and pursue personal gain in countries such as India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Ukraine. Now, this comes as the Trump administration continues to freeze U.S. aid's budget, describing its initiatives as misaligned with American interests and accusing them of destabilizing global peace.
Well, many ideas, but look, he's done a great job. Look at all the fraud that he's found in this U.S. AID. It's a disaster what the people, radical left lunatics, they have things that nobody would have even believed. The whole thing with $100 million spent on you know what, with money going to all sorts of groups that shouldn't deserve to get any money, with the money. I'd like to see what the kickbacks are.
Wouldn't we all like to see where the kickbacks are? This Open Society Foundation rushed out this statement, calling Trump's accusations outrageous and false. They claim they only fund human rights and democracy. But let's be honest. Americans on the ground see the results, the lawlessness, the soft on crime, the prosecutors, the no cash bail, and cities that feel more like war zones than communities. RICO charges aren't small potatoes. That's the same law used to take down the mob. If Soros and his son have been using dark money networks to fund political violence and launder influence, then President Trump is right. It's time to hold them accountable. The walls are closing in on the radical left's biggest bankroll. And for once, the Department of Justice might actually be listening. What do you think? Should Soros finally face RICO charges? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss when the next Trump truth bomb lands.